Anansi the Spider and the Pot of Wisdom, an African folktale for kids. Once upon a time, and endless sunshine, there lived a clever but mischievous spider named Anansi. Anansi was no ordinary spider. He was known far and wide as the trickster of the animal kingdom. He was small in size but big in ideas, always scheming and plotting his next clever move. One day, Anansi had a thought. He said to himself, "There is so much wisdom in this world, so much that everyone seems to have a little piece of it. If I could gather all the wisdom into one place, would be the wisest of them all. I could become the greatest spider to ever live." And so, Anansi set out on a journey, determined to collect every bit of wisdom in the world and store it in a pot, where it would belong to him alone. Anansi traveled from village to village, forest to forest, and even to the deepest caves. Everywhere he went, he asked the animals, the people, and even the spirits for their wisdom. Some shared riddles, some offered proverbs, and others shared secrets of life. He visited the wise elephant who taught him about patience, the cunning hare who shared the importance of quick thinking, and even the old owl who whispered secrets about the stars. With every piece of wisdom, Anansi added it to his pot, which grew heavier and heavier with every passing day. Soon, the pot was so full that no one in the world had any wisdom left. It all belonged to Anansi. Or so he thought. Now that Anansi had all the wisdom, he needed to keep it safe. He thought, if I leave it here, someone might take it. I need to hide it where no one can ever find it. Anansi looked around and saw a tall tree standing in the middle of the forest. It reached up into the sky, its branches thick and strong. He decided to climb the tree and tie the pot to the highest branch, where no one but he could reach it. But there was one problem. The pot was too heavy to carry in his tiny spider legs. So, he came up with a plan. He tied a rope to the pot and strapped it to his belly, thinking this would make it easier to climb. With the pot bouncing against his belly, Anansi began his climb. But as he climbed, the pot kept getting in the way. It swung left and right, hitting the branches and making the climb nearly impossible. Anansi grumbled, "Why is this so difficult? I'm the cleverest creature alive, yet I can't figure this out." Just then, Anansi heard a small voice below. It was his young son, sitting at the base of the tree, watching him struggle. The child called out, "Father, why don't you tie the pot to your back instead of your belly? That way, it won't get in your way as you climb." Anansi paused and thought about what his son had said. He scratched his head and muttered, "Why didn't I think of that?" Reluctantly, he untied the pot from his belly and strapped it to his back instead. And just like that, the climb became much easier. But as Anansi climbed higher, he began to feel something he hadn't felt before: embarrassment. He thought, how could a child have more wisdom than me, the great Anansi? I have collected all the wisdom in the world, yet I needed advice from my son. His embarrassment turned to anger, and in a fit of frustration, Anansi made a fateful decision. In his anger, Anansi yanked at the rope tied to the pot, but he pulled too hard. The pot slipped from his grasp, tumbling down the tree and crashing to the ground. It shattered into 1,000 pieces, and with it, all the wisdom spilled out. The animals of the forest came running, drawn by the noise. They saw the broken pot and the wisdom spreading like sunlight, scattering across the earth. Each animal took a piece, each bird carried some away, and the wind spread the rest far and wide. Anansi watched in shock as his great treasure disappeared before his eyes. All his hard work was undone in an instant. Anansi climbed down from the tree, feeling defeated. But as he sat under the tree, something strange happened. The owl landed beside him and said, "Anansi, wisdom is not meant to be hoarded. It grows best when it is shared." Anansi thought about this and nodded slowly. He realized that by trying to keep all the wisdom to himself, he had missed its true purpose: to help others and make the world a better place. From that day forward, Anansi became known not just as a trickster, but also as a storyteller. He began to share the wisdom he had learned through stories, passing them down from generation to generation. And so, the wisdom that once belonged to one clever spider was shared with the entire world, where it lives on to this very day. This is the story of Anansi the Spider and the Pot of Wisdom, a tale of humility, sharing, and the power of community. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to keep the wisdom alive. See you next time on Tales from the Baobab.